Good afternoon, everyone. I hope you all are having a great day. I haven't been on here in like 2 weeks, so I started to say Happy New Year, but I already said that. I feel like you could keep saying Happy New Year until maybe March, because like if you haven't seen someone and then you run into them, like I ran into my neighbor the other day that I haven't seen, and I was like, "Oh, Happy New Year," whatever the case may be. But I wanted to come on here and talk about the Chrisean and Blueface situation more in depth. I usually try to refrain from reporting on them. Number one, I really can't keep up with them because every time I turn around, they're back on the blogs for something. Chrisean done did this, Blueface done did that, or whatever the case may be. And recently, she had announced that she was pregnant. Okay. And there was a few instances. I think Natalie Nunn's Bad Girls Club or Baddies, whatever it is, was premiering and they was on a red carpet and Krishan attacked someone and supposedly she's supposed to be pregnant. It was just really weird. It happened so quick. I don't even know what the backstory is. Maybe below y'all can let me know. You don't have to, but if you want to, feel free to leave it below. Um, and then there was another situation where she was fighting two women. Now I think she said that she wasn't fighting, she was trying to break something up. I don't know how true that is. And then there was the situation where she was on the No Jumper podcast and the security had to have her removed. So I wanted to come and just speak about this situation in depth because I did a community post and I just want to clarify some things because I think people really have some misconstruities when I come on here and I show compassion and I show nurturing energy or I show empathy, and for some reason that translates to an excusal of behavior, enabling to of behavior to some people. And I just want to come on here and really clarify myself. Okay, so the definition of empathy is to have an understanding or to share in the feelings of the person that you're empathizing with. Now, empathy is very broad, so I'm just going to speak from my experience and my understanding of how empathy shows up in my life and how I go about exuding it. So, what that means to me and how I interpret that is, for example, say you're on your way to work, right? You're on your way to work and a homeless person is standing in the middle of the street. I'm from the city, I'm from New York City, so things like that happen a lot. You could be on the metro bus, whatever the case may be, and then out of nowhere, like the bus will stop and you'll look up and be like, well, the light is green, what's going on? And then you'll see like a homeless person pushing carts, or they may not be in their right mental or emotional state, so they're having a moment in the middle of the street. And if there's no authorities to step in and mitigate the situation or remove the person, the driver and the pedestrians are just going to have to sit there and wait until, that person decides that they want to get out the street. And it's very natural and human to be frustrated. I have places to go. Hell, you could be on your way to dinner. You could be on your way to picking up kids. And it's very natural. And for a lot of us, especially in this day and age, still reeling from the pandemic, there is a mental health crisis in this country. We are damn near in a recession. The economy is about to pop. Everyone is on edge for a multitude of reasons, and some of us know how to navigate and self-regulate internally and externally better than others. It just is what it is. And say you're sitting on a bus and one person may be cursing, sucking his teeth, whatever the case may be. You may see an older woman, and these are experiences that I've had where, she has her Bible. You could tell that she's a God fearing woman. You could tell maybe she's just coming from church or going to church. You could tell that's something that's really indoctrinated into her routine and, her daily system. And, you'll see her put her hand on the Bible and close her hands and say some things under her breath, and you'll know that she's saying a silent prayer for that person. or whatever the case may be. Or maybe like me, you'll try to avoid contact, but at the same time, you're not judging them, you're not criticizing them. You may be a little irritated because you got places to go, but you're able to regulate. I'm irritated, my feelings is valid, this person is triggering me, this person is creating anxiety because now I'm gonna be late, but I also know that this person is not in their right state of mind. So I just give it to God. God help your child, whatever the case may be, whatever how you navigate it. The reason why it's so hard for people to do what I just said, and again, people express compassion and empathy in a various amount of ways. There is no I don't want to say there's no right or wrong way to do it, but I just feel like we're all different, and the way that we process and interpret and analyze situations, that determines how we respond and engage and experience it. And of course, that's going to vary. The problem that I have with the Chrisean situation, and even just across the board, like we just had a mass shooting out in California. You had some individuals from the Asian community celebrating their Lunar New Year, and unfortunately, someone from their community opened fire, killing 10 and injuring, I think, 10 or more other people. Um, and I seen people, for example, like if you go and look at the Instagram page, like they had showed an update about it, and someone was like, child, anyways, what's for lunch? And I feel like because social media has created this instant access to where the first thing that comes to your mind, you could tweet it, you could voice memo it. Even what I'm doing here with YouTube, you could just plug your mic in and hop in. It really doesn't add any incentive for people to say, well, let me slow down before I open my mouth. Let me, run through the inventory. Is this necessary? Is this kind? Is this anything of substance? Is this going to improve the situation? A lot of people don't stop and ask themselves those questions anymore before they open their mouths. They just open their mouths to give opinions, because what happens is, for example, even with the Asian hate situation, right? I get it with black people. I don't agree with it, but I do get and understand where the black community comes from, where they're like, okay, well, that's their problem. Because when it comes to issues like, I guess you could say, Black Lives Matter, and this has always been like a slight running joke, but it has a lot of truth to it. You'll see people from the Hispanic community and the white community and other communities come out and march with us, or whatever the case may be. Um, but Asian people be in their own world minding their business. And to be honest, I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at it at all. And that's why I understand the black community's response to this Asian on Asian crime, because it just was what it was. It was an Asian on Asian crime, and to this mass shooting. In addition to that, something else that I also understand about the response is there's a lot of pain there. There's a lot of pain there. And there's a lot of get back there. And I feel like because there's not enough people within the black community that have made genuine strides with healing. I'm not talking about millionaires and degrees and homes and cars and chains. I'm not talking about those things in Birkin bags. I'm talking about true healing and true success of your soul and of your spirit on an emotional, mental, and spiritual level. And I say this all the time. Black people are really good at creating upward mobility in a material sense, in a physical sense. But when it comes to internal upward mobility, spiritual ascension, emotional intelligence, okay, being able to process things, being able to not, move on impulse, not move off of ego, we have a lot of work to do with that. And it bothers me sometimes because it's like we'll jump and get mad at Chrisean and kick her and put her down, and she needs to do this and that, but y'all are not holding the blogs accountable. I feel like for every post, tweet, in video that's made, quote unquote, air quotes, holding Chrisean accountable, and she needs to shit or get off the pot. Well, when I was 22, 23, I wasn't acting like that. If she was dark skinned, would people still feel the way? I feel like for every comment like that, there should be another video and another post and another tweet condemning the neighborhood talk, the shade room, Hollywood Unlock, It's On Site, and any other blog that constantly perpetuates this relationship. And I just don't get that. If you're constantly, I don't, the crazy thing about it, even before I took my Instagram down, I don't even see a lot of stuff going on with Chrisean and Blueface until I come over to YouTube and see everybody talking about it. And I feel like that's all a lot of people know how to do. Write up articles, make salacious headlines, talk about it, but nobody has adequate solutions to offer that are attuned to her state. And that's another thing about being an actual empath. Remember when that was the buzzword, when everyone claimed that they was an empath? When you are an empath, you literally know and have a God-given gift of how to attune your suggested solutions, alternative solutions, and approaches to high crisis situations, mid crisis, low crisis, whatever it is, to the person who is seeking your help or you deem needs your help. That's being an empath, okay? And then just dialing it back to empathy. Again, the definition of empathy is to have an understanding and share in the feelings of said person or situation. So once again, it's not about what you would do and how you got out of your toxic relationship and what you were doing at 22. It's about Chrisean and what she's clearly unable to do without assistance. Someone came into my comments and said, well, you've been through a lot and the world didn't give you, but that's not Chrisean's fault that the world was unkind to me. That little girl don't know me and I don't know her. It's not Chrisean's fault that the world was unkind to me, and I'm not going to make her the punching bag for my bullshit. Like it's ridiculous, and that's why I get so touchy with this subject, because people don't understand that within their responses, trying to justify why they're criticizing this woman, you're revealing your pain. We all have pain, and there's no such thing as being healed as an ED, like, oh, you'll just get over something. But I do believe in moving forward and accumulating tools and wisdom and lessons and having that be the catalyst of your healing and how you navigate your pain and your trauma and your wounds. Chrisean, she's not learning lessons right now. She's knee deep in the midst of the storm. She's in a trauma bond. She's in a trauma bond. I was watching this video the other day where they was interviewing her because I knew she was a track star, but I went and did research. And she comes from Baltimore. She comes from, first of all, Baltimore is rough in itself. Let's just start there. Have you ever seen The Wire or The Corner? Literally based on true stories. But she comes from Baltimore, and her parents, they had their drug problems. She's seen a lot of abuse and stuff. She was not set up for success. I remember my freshman year in college, my counselor said, on paper, you're not even supposed to be here. I remember the second Black female therapist I had, Dr. Brown. She said that too. You're an anomaly. On paper, with all of the stuff that you've been through, you're not supposed to be here. I understand that I'm the exception, not the rule, which is why when I see women, specifically Black women, because that is the subjugated group that I come from, So I can relate. We share community to a certain degree. When I see Black women behaving that way, and I'm not perfect, I've had moments where I flipped off and said certain things out my mouth. I am not perfect. I could fall victim to my flesh and ego as well. But having the awareness, the empathy, the compassion, I can acknowledge it and move forward and do my best to do better with intention. She does play a part in it because she's there. In addition to that, when you're just around negativity and toxicity and you already don't have your head screwed on straight, and then you put alcohol and drugs in the mix, and everything you do is constantly on the blogs, getting engagements, clicks, views. These podcasts are interviewing her. You have well to do, well put together women such as Angela Yee, for an example. Angela Yee carries herself very well. She carries herself like a very well conservative woman. So if this very conservative woman who conducts herself in a high light is allowing me to come and sit on her podcast, what incentive, and this is just me using an example, what incentive would I have to change my behavior or detach from this trauma bond if I'm constantly being rewarded? Yes, I'm being criticized, but I'm also being rewarded in the same breath. And this is the delusion that a lot of today's celebrities, Instagram stars, reality stars, whatever the case, live in. Yeah, y'all criticize me. Yeah, y'all call me this. Yeah, y'all call me that. But I'm also rewarded with exposure, which leads to opportunities. We all play a part in why people, not just women, but people like Chrisean, and not just men, and Blueface are not only existing and behaving that way, because I think we all know somebody like a Chrisean or Blueface, maybe not to those extremes, but you know, that toxic back and forth relationship. But we play a part in why they're constantly being spoon fed to us. Because even if you do say, well, I don't engage with Chrisean and Blueface, there's some other form of toxicity that plays into this new what's wrong is right and what's right is wrong that we participate in to keep it all going. Everybody wants to pick and choose, and it's a popularity contest. You know, protect Black women. Give this girl a break. She just lost this person and that person, and she's in school and she's doing this. Chrisean, very articulate at one time, was able to identify, I come from a home that's broken, this, that, and the third, and I do track because it allows me to get my aggression out. I don't know what happened specifically between then and then her going to audition and being on the Bad Girls Club with Blueface. I don't know where she was misled or misguided, but the girl is like 22, 20 fucking 3. Give me a fucking break. And if nobody gave you a break at 22 and 23, my heart goes out to you. I sincerely empathize, but I say it all the time. Laughing at someone's pain, criticizing someone's pain, using your pain as a barometer to critique someone else's pain and use that as an excuse as why you're talking down on someone, it's not going to help you free yourself from that pain, or at minimum, learn how to navigate and manage it on a daily basis to the point where it's not a detriment to you. The world is not kind to no one. And yes, in some cases, if you're lighter skin and your hair is more curlier or bone straight, or if you have certain eyes, or if you're taller, everybody has disadvantages. Comparison is literally the thief of joy, because you can always look to someone and say, wow, I wish I had that. and or make assumptions about how what that person has that you think makes their life better would make your life better. We spend too much time focusing on what the next person is doing, what the next person has. And again, it's human nature. Like, it's human nature. Don't fight against it, just fight with it. And that's where self-awareness and accountability comes in. Self-awareness and self-accountability. Because if you're more self-aware and introspective about the origins of you, if you spend more times pulling the layers back of you, it makes it easier for you to understand other people. That's why one of my favorite quotes is, your heart will get broken over and over again until it becomes permanently open with empathy, because it's through those trials and tribulations and those storms and those traumatic things that we experience, if we have the wherewithal within, because everybody doesn't have it. I come from a family of women who did not have it. I come from a mom and dad who did not have it. But if you have the wherewithal within to understand that there is a light at the end of the tunnel, and do your best to still see the beauty when shit is fucking terrible, the worst word, use an adjective you could think of to describe something really bad, it does add a layer, not a layer of coldness, but a layer of warmth. You may be guarded, but you're not hardened. There's a difference. A lot of people walk around thinking that they just have a guard up, and no, you're hardened at the heart. Because again, case in point, remember when those diaries of Kris Jenner leaked, and from Robert Senior Kardashian, allegedly, even though I mean I seen it with my own eyes, even though they scrubbed the internet, but I play along. And in those diaries, Robert Senior Kardashian was alleging that Kris would get drunk and come home and beat the girls, Kim, Courtney, and Chloe, and how she had them on diet pills and all types of stuff. And then supposedly Kim Kardashian been running around hot. You understand? So that has allowed me to have empathy. And y'all know, when it comes to them, I do not do the bitches of Eastwick or whatever. Somebody, who was it? Was it Jaguar, right? When she said the running joke in Hollywood is they're the witches of East Hollywood or something, because you know that movie, The Witches of Eastwick. But y'all know I don't do them. It's very seldom that I will talk about the Kardashians on this channel, and I bring them up as an example to make my fucking point. I know those women are fucked up from the inside out because of their mama, because of their dad dying very young and then them being left to be raised by their mama who was money hungry. I know that's where a lot of their bullshit comes from. But do I come on here and be like, well, they're rich, they're white, they're Armenian, their father was Robert Kardashian. If I could do it here in Newark, no, I just disengage and keep it the fuck moving. Empathy, compassion. You ain't got nothing nice, don't say it at all. Does that mean that I've never said anything bad about them? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I'm human. Just as quick as I could lift you up, I know that I could tear somebody down. I just choose to not do that because that's not who I am. But if you push me far enough, we can rumble. And y'all have seen that and heard it. So that's my point. I don't come on here constantly trashing the Kardashians and talking about them. And no, I don't do that. I just disengage, because despite how I feel about them from a spiritual perspective and just the regular subjective, opinion bias, they're public figures. It's not in my character to constantly kick people. Like, I don't desire to do that. It's not in my character to constantly critique and criticize something that supposedly is bringing me disgust and turning me off. It's not. There's always a reason for our perceived, and sometimes it just is what it is, bad behavior. But when I see people comment under my post and be like, some people are just who they are, and she's 22, 23, her prefrontal cortex hasn't even come in yet. Her emotional intelligence, she's not even thinking from her right side of her fucking brain yet, all the way. You understand? Born and raised in Baltimore by two parents that had drug issues, and she's seen fighting, guns, all types of stuff. Some people just break and fucking snap. Everybody's not built the same. I understand everyone is not built like me. And I done weathered some shit and still am. So when I speak, I'm not just pulling shit out of my ass. I have earned my right to speak with conviction. Because if me, I ain't famous. I don't got gold and diamond encrusted chains around my neck like her. I'm not being interviewed and being given all of these opportunities. But I could still show her compassion because me and her is different. And I say it all the time. Before you go to the, well, when I was in that situation, I didn't, well, yeah, thank your creator. Thank that source that you feel strongly that you're an extension of, because that could have been your situation. So thank the universe for grace and protection. All of our paths are different. All of our paths. I was watching the Whitney Houston documentary the other day. Very good. I know I'm 4 years, actually 5 years late because it came out in 2018. Very good. And do you know, at the end of the documentary, when they started talking about her daughter, Bobbi, Kristina, them people was boo-hooing and set out their mouths. Bobbi Kristina was never taken care of by Whitney and Bobbi. Never. She was just left and thrown to the fucking wolves because of their illness, their disease of addiction. And that's another thing. There is such a breakdown with compassion and empathy with a lot of factors that plague the Black community that create the Chriseans and the Blueface. And that's another problem. We play right into the hands of those who have designed it this way. Addiction is a disease. It's a disease. And like I said on my post, I understand that very thin, it's almost invisible line of being on the receiving end of the person who's sick, whether it's a mental illness, whether it's a personality disorder, whether it's the disease of addiction, and still trying to hold compassion and say they're not in their right mind. Their mind is so bad, this is them at their best. I get it. I get it. But because we don't know Chrisean, you don't have to fucking engage her. I was taught you'd never kick people down without putting your hand out and extending to help them up. And a lot of y'all don't do that because, as y'all said, it wasn't done to you. And again, so sorry. I empathize 1000% because I've been there. I've been there, laying in a hospital bed with COVID, with an IV in my arm and steroids in the other, putting together a GoFundMe for my mother's funeral, only to be told after giving 1,500, and thank y'all again, because a lot that came from a lot of y'all, you're too contagious to go. That's something that would send most people over the fucking edge and make them horrible ass people. When people that you've been around your whole life, very family oriented, pretty much your first family over your actual immediate family you was born in, treat you that way and discard you at your lowest point. But because I'm very intentional about healing and evolving and growing, because I know there's so many Black girls that's going through what I've been through. I know there's a lot of Black women that are going through what I've been through and I'm currently going through. That's my purpose and that's my assignment. It's not fair. Life is not fair. But it just is what it is. And you don't have to do it like me. You don't have to be like me. But I just ask, check your trauma at the door before you go after that girl. She's not even mentally, emotionally 22. I bet you the first time she was violated in any way, slash neglected in any way, that's where her mindset is at that age, like most of us, until we start actually working with someone. It's ridiculous. And then y'all fucking send her to Dr. Ish, a therapist who runs a show, Celebrity Marriage Boot Camp, where you know damn well you're not really helping these people. This is what I'm saying. She don't got no guidance around her. And y'all are basically saying that this girl who clearly there's a chemical imbalance. I'm almost sure of that. Clearly there's a something is chemical imbalance or a personality disorder. Y'all are putting so much on her to just pull herself up. I didn't even pull myself up by myself. I didn't even do it. So I just don't get it. I just don't get it. But I'll leave it here. I'll leave it here. Y'all hit the thumbs up. Comment below. Let me know what y'all think about the situation with Chrisean. I truly do wish her the best. And I hope that something was gained from this. I really do, because this is why I have not really been reporting, because I just this world, man, this world, I can't. It's sad. It's so much pain in the world that is going unaddressed. That's the problem. The pain is going to come because it's duality. You can't have the good without the bad, but there's not enough adequate services and intervention and platforms for people to get the help that they really need. That's always going to tug at me. Because when you go to look for a therapist, a psychiatrist, whatever the case may be, that takes time. You have to find what works for you when you're cycling in and out of antidepressants, bipolar medication, schizophrenia, whatever the case may be. It takes time. So that's a lot to put on someone that's not in their right mind, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, to also have to be responsible. And I get it. I get it. I get it. Well, we all got to do it. That's just like, I get it. But where did we learn that from? Where did we learn that from? I think on a spiritual level, that's one of the reasons why the pandemic was so specific. Because when we were able to see, damn, the government don't really fuck with us like that, a lot of people started fucking with themselves more. Well, fuck it. I'm going to quit my job. I'm not fucking killing myself. We don't know how this pandemic is going to end, so I'm going to live life on my terms. And this is why they're still having a hard time getting people back to the office, because people realize, oh, I can get shit done and make a living and still do things I really care about. The 4 hours to the office, picking up so and so from school, did a job, whatever the case. Oh, now I could do this to get the business started. And I'm going to tell y'all, with Pluto about to enter Aquarius and Saturn about to enter Pisces, there is going to be another situation that's going to stop people dead in their tracks, because the universe doesn't like to be disrespected. We had a quick, brief moment where everybody was pretending, but the problem was they let us back outside too fucking soon, in my opinion. And everybody just went back to being shitheads, and it's just getting worse and worse and worse. The bubble is going to pop. Mark my words. Too much of anything leads to destruction, whether it be good or bad. But once that bubble pops, I have a feeling that pendulum is going to begin to balance out. It's going to take a while. I may not even see it balance out, but I'm okay with being an intricate part along with other healers, empaths, light workers. Whether you're a social worker, whether you're a teacher, whether you're a guidance counselor, maybe you volunteer, maybe you have a basketball camp, whatever you're doing that, yes, it feeds you, but it's also feeding other people. You're part of the purpose. You're part of the plan. You can be a construction worker who's building affordable housing. You're part of the purpose. You're part of the plan. I'll be back. I'm gonna get into all the Cardi B, Armand, Jason Lee, child. It's a lot. I'll be back, but I wanted to make sure that I got this video out first. Okay. Y'all have a great day. Love y'all very much. Thank you so much for the supportive messages and everything. I'm gonna do a Queen Lovely diary because I think the last one I did was on YouTube, like really breaking everything down and explaining where I'm at. But thank you so much. And if you would like to book a session with me, as you can see at the bottom of the screen, or just donate to my Cash App, or shoot me an email. You know, I have people that shoot me emails all the time, and sometimes we just chop it up, or they'll hit me in a DM. I'm not on Instagram right now, so don't do that. Yeah, book a session. That is pinned in the comments as well as the description box. You can also go to the About tab for this page and click where it says book a session with me, and it takes you right to my site. And I also offer spiritual advising packages where, say you purchase a month with me, we can curate goals together, and check in with one another and other things. So if you have any questions about that, shoot me an email, leave it in the comment. And once again, thank you so much for watching this video, and be sure to subscribe and hit the thumbs up and enable that notification bell. Bye.